Hello there and welcome to a hobby update. I'm Captain Jack Gumption and this is kind of what we've been working on at the minute as regards to our Warhammer armies and stuff like that. We are moving into the realms of chaos, basically. We'll have a look at some of the Lamenters stuff in a minute. All that's very much nearly done and cleared off. I think there's about 7 models left to paint, maybe a few more if I go through some boxes and find some stuff. But yeah, as it stands at the minute, there's about 7 models left to do. So they're nearly done. I've just basically been going through all my chaos stuff. So we'll do a little bit of a slideshow, I think, for this one. So as you can see in front of us at the moment, we have got our kind of World Eater contingent that we're building on, and a Chaos Knight. So Khan, who's been built, and the Knight are 2 new things for me. I got them for my birthday, which was on Monday. The missus very kindly got them for me. So they're wonderful and fantastic. I've already built Khan, so he should be a quick turnaround. The Knight obviously take a little bit more time with, because it's a nice model. You want to do your best with it. We've also got Angron, Primarch of the World Eaters. He's been in that state for a very, very long time. The Black Toad competition for doing the bases, which I can't remember if I spoke about on the last hobby update, but I won it. Yay! And Angron's base was one of the bases I did for that. I did 5 bases in total, which was what was asked for. I did a base for my Raven Guard, Primaris, Repulsor, Exploderer, or whichever one it was. That's been there for donkey's years. I finished that one off. The Knight Lancer base has been done, as well as Angron's base, and something else that I forget. Oh, the 2 Armiger bases as well. They're the ones that I entered into the competition. So I won that. Fantastic. It's not the winning, really. It's getting stuff done. I managed to clear off a couple of models, all the bases for models that have literally been there for years. So yeah, World Eater wise, this is kind of what we're working with as it stands at the moment. I haven't got an army of World Eaters such since because I started my World Eaters in 8th edition. I didn't really do much in 9th, I don't think. And then obviously we're on 10th now. So they're a bit higgledy-piggledy. And how I had because mine was a homebrew warband, the Sons of Ternak, how they were kind of like laid out and stuff like that. They don't fit the new codex, so I'm sort of starting from scratch. But I'll chuck some pictures up. So we have got like a Chaos Terminator Lord. We've got a old Demon Prince, which I'm looking to change at some point in the nearish future. We've got a Terminator Squad, and we've got some Berserkers, which aren't technically legal, because then when they were originally built, they were kit bashed from about 3 or 4 different kits, and they had things like they had dual melee weapons, basically. And there's a Rhino as well. So what we're looking at now to expand this for the minute, and then that'll kind of like go back in the box for a little bit. We have a Master of Executions, I think he's called. Another 5-man squad of Terminators, Angron and Khan the Betrayer, which will kind of round that out a little bit for the moment. Because the main part of the Chaos Force that we're working on at the moment is this. So this is kind of what we're working on as it stands at the moment. So here is a collection of various different miniatures from across the years. And again, we'll do a little bit of a slideshow here, but right at the back, we have got the some of the probably first units I ever kit bashed. They're using Gene Stealer Cult. I don't really remember the name of the Gene Stealer Cult unit. One of the main ones, and it might just be Gene Stealer Cult, the infantry, with all their little symbols and stuff like that cut off and shaved off, with a variety of head swaps, mainly with Mechanicum Skitari Ranger style heads. There's a lot of shotguns in there because when I originally made these, they're kind of like I wanted shotguns. And then there's the sergeant with a Necromunda, Orlok Ganger, power fist sort of thing, and a bolt pistol. At the time, this is probably, I don't even remember when I built these, what edition it was. It's a very, very long time ago. It's kind of like very, very early. They were called the Mulgore Rockfists. They were kind of like, I can't remember what the codex entry for these were, but it were like you could use auto guns and shotguns, maybe like a veteran style unit or something like that. They were basically like a militia force from way back when that I wanted to do. I wanted to do some kit bashing. I wanted to have a play around. So that were kind of like one of the first times I ever did any kit bashing. It was, only little bits with the changing decals, not decals, cutting off symbols and stuff like that, and carving hands and making them look like they weren't Gene Stealers anymore. But they were kind of like the thing that we went for back then. And the other kind of little regiment bit at the back are my Katachan. So these were bought many, many moons ago. How old would I have been? Probably 16 or so. It was back in the days when you could get Katachan jungle fighters, and they came in a big box of, I think it was about 20 of them. It was before I even knew how to play 40k. I didn't even really understand what it were. I used to go into the local Warhammer shop, look at what was on the wall, and kind of go, oh, they look cool. I'll have some of those. I'll have this little 5-man squad of Space Marines. I'll have these. I'll have them. I'll have this. And I used to just basically pick a model. Because at that time, I weren't interested in playing the game. I was interested in modelling. At that point in time, I was still very much into kind of like my Airfix models, especially jets. Star Wars models had just started coming through in the form of kind of like the Venator. I had the big Venator model. I've still got it kicking around somewhere. It's missing an engine, unfortunately. But yeah, so I bought those because they look cool, because I'm a big fan, even back then, of kind of like 80s, 90s action films, the ones that make very little sense. They all look like little versions of Arnold Schwarzenegger. So yeah, I got those originally. So originally these were primed with Hammerite black spray. So it was thick, it was goopy, it was glossy. And they were painted with Codex Grey and whatever flesh tones I had, because I think round about this time no, it wouldn't. It would have been like a flesh-coloured enamel Humbrol paint. Yeah, because this was before even the Lord of the Rings magazine came out, which was one of the things that got me into it. So yeah, they're the Katachan. Most of them, unfortunately, got turned into bits and spares, and haven't survived, that kind of like transition from being a kid to an adult, because they've just been rammed in boxes and bits have snapped off and stuff like that. But a few years ago, I got them out, felt sorry for them, painted them up a little bit, and I painted them up as kind of like a little bit of a penal legion. Most of them have got flamethrowers, I think, with a few las guns. So they can't be used for much, but I'm kind of bundling them in probably as cultists into this kind of like chaos force that we're building, because I'm looking to build essentially a couple of chaos style regiments. We're going to go into it more because I'm currently working on a kind of like a homebrew lore video, which I started recording some of it earlier on today. But yeah, those two bits at the back are kind of going to be culty sort of units. Then further at front, we've got some units from Blackstone Fortress. We've got the Rogue Psychers as well as the Black Force infantrymen. They were started a few years ago when I got Blackstone Fortress. I like the models, I like the sculpt. I decided I wanted to have a go at Slapchop to see what it was all about. I like dry brushing and things like that. It's kind of one of my go-to methods. I wasn't 100% happy with the Slapchop application, though. It doesn't quite... I don't know. There's just something about it not quite happy with. They're kind of like a mixed paint scheme. So some of them were test models with different camo colours, your greens, your khaki colours, that sort of thing. The bulk of the ones that I did paint were painted in orange because, again, like a Penal Legion sort of thing. I might just paint them as is. I might just do them as a mix, kind of like Chaos Force, because these you can currently in the Chaos Codex, from what I've seen, you can use them as infantry. So we're going to have them as a chunk of infantry. And then when I was Warhammer World a couple of weeks ago, I bought the Blooded Kill team, and these are my kind of like bestest boys. So the guys right at the front are part of the seventh Scythian, because they're from a planet called Scythian Shadow Guard. I am tempted to use them as a kill team, because I've not played kill team. I technically have one. I need to paint the Enforcer and the Ogre and Bodyguard, but they could work well for that. At the minute, they're just going to form part of the infantry corps for my army. I'm pretty happy with the scheme. They've turned out pretty well, and I've also bought some Victoria miniature STLs. I bought some capes, which don't really fit on these ones as such, because they've all got backpacks. I found that with most of the new Guard infantry stuff, whether it be Chaos, whether it be Loyalist stuff, they don't fit perfectly. But I got some of the cloaks, and I got the gas mask Brody helms. Brody helms are kind of like what the British used to use a lot of during the First World War, as well as a lot of the Allied forces, your Belgium. I think the French use them. I know the Belgians use Brody helms. They're, a very, very old-fashioned helmet. They're essentially a more modernised version of what used to be a kettle helm, which was basically a sort of like a skull cap with a brim on it, basically, which would help protect from arrow fire and stuff like that, because usually arrows, especially volley fire, comes down at you. If you've got a brim, it's likely to hit the brim rather than go straight into your face or into your neck or your top of your shoulders and that kind of area. That was a kettle helm. The Brody helms, to me, are just basically like a modern day equivalent of it. Probably do a similar sort of thing. I love Brody helms. I think they look fantastic. It's kind of like the gentleman's war hat. And then they've got gas masks as well. Gas masks cover a number of sins. They can fight anywhere. It covers their identity. There's no kind of like gender things of, they're all men or they're all women. It's like they're all wearing gas masks and armour. Nobody gives a shit. It's the world of the 41st millennium. Everybody's dying regardless of gender or whatever. So yeah, they're kind of like my chaos side of the infantry. I have bought some other guard. I'm going to show them off in another video. I bought a squad of Cadian shock troops, which have also got these helmets on, which are forming the loyalist part of the same army. So a few years ago, I decided I wanted to have a go at painting some Alpha Legion, just for a bit of a palette cleanser. And I had some miniatures left over. I had some Terminators that weren't really doing much, and I had some leftover torsos and that from the Sons of Ternak army I was building at the time, because I bought one of the big Battle Force boxes, and in that box, basically I made the Chaos Infantry that I wanted, so the Chaos Legionnaires that I wanted at the time, and then I used the rest. Then I used a couple of the squads to basically make champions and like Chaos Lords and that kind of thing, characters basically, just to flesh out the army. So I had some bits left over. So I thought, well, I'll try those with the Alpha Legion. I do like the Alpha Legion very much for the same reasons I like the Raven Guard. The kind of like espionage and secretive and all that good stuff. So yeah, so what I've decided to do, because it's a new edition, it's been a long time since I've actually got involved with it, I decided it'd be a good idea to actually go with that Alpha Legion idea, and kind of like grow that side of the army. So the actual Chaos Space Marines as it stands at the moment, it's going to be quite a small select force. They have mainly gone round and they've gone, well, we'll take those Beastmen, because there's Beastmen now, Kill Team for Beastmen, which you can use in the armies, and it's like, yes, I like Beastmen. I love the idea of Beastmen with guns. So yeah, I'm going to get some squads of them, and then we've got the squads of infantry. So they've basically been getting kind of like more these ragtag waifs and strays, ones that have like Cadians that might be kind of like, well, Cadian's fallen, the Imperium's not really done much apart from throw us more into more wars, and you know, it's just the endless meat grinder. They become disillusioned, disenfranchised. There's regiments such as Praetorian Guard, which are extremely harsh and kind of like mega disciplinarian, which you can get shot for having your buttons undone on a parade ground and stuff like that. So to me, in the 40k universe, there's probably a lot of kind of like common people who are kind of like, well, I don't really want to fight for these guys because, to be honest, they're a bunch of assholes, and I would much rather fight for someone that could give me a bit of freedom. And that's kind of like what my Alpha Legion are doing. They're going, well, join us. Yes, you will still have to fight, but you'll be fighting for your own causes. And that's good, because one of the things I love about the Alpha Legion as well is, lore-wise, after the Horus Heresy, yes, they technically sided with Horus, but there's nothing actually saying that the Alpha Legion are full on chaos. They're kind of, to me, they're using chaos in order to you know, make their own ends meet. And that's kind of like what I'm thinking. In my head, in the homebrew lore of this little Chaos Alpha Legion warband, they're making they're recruiting loyalist regiments, they're recruiting chaos regiments to basically, I do apologise for any background noise, to basically kind of fight for them to achieve their goals, which is a secret. We're not going to go into what it is. So yeah, that's kind of what we've been doing at the minute. The other thing we've been working on is obviously the Knight Lancer. He is now built. He's not got his arms on, and he has been painted in this lovely chrome colour. Let's just get him on screen now. There we go. I don't know how much in focusing that is. Again, I'll get some pictures of him. This is the Lancer. This is kind of his pose. He sort of stood on a rock with his shield and lance ready to lunge and deflect and all that good thing. There's a few things I'm unhappy about. I underestimated the gaps in his leg joints and stuff like that. So I'm debating whether or not to go through and just fill those with a bit of liquid green stuff. I need to look at what the panels are going to look like on him, but he's kind of underway. I'm taking my time with him though, because I don't want to rush him and ruin him. So yeah, that's the main things that we've been working on at this moment in time. we are kind of full-blown chaos, as well as writing all the lore bits for my loyalist guard, my traitor guard, my renegade guard, which will be which I'll be using the Imperial Guard rules, because there's no traitor guard rules at the minute. Which, will there ever be any traitor guard rules? Who knows? It feels like we've been teased about this for a long time. But anyway, that's what we've been doing. That is kind of like what we're up to as it stands at the moment. And that's our hobby waffle for this moment in time. As I said, there is going to be a bit of a lore video coming up at some point. I appreciate that probably 40k stuff is not really popular on the channel as regards to the main viewership. I know a lot of people here for X4 and X4 alone, but I enjoy making this sort of stuff, so I'm going to keep making it. And yeah, that's kind of where we're at. So, as always, I have been Captain Jack Gumption. This has been a Hobby Waffle, and until next time.